the WNBA continues to get the kind of attention they shouldn't want. All right, again, Colin Cowherd is making a point to talk about the WNBA again. He does it now multiple times a week, but only when it comes to one player, or in this case, one player and what it is the rest of the league is doing to her.
What if I told you Colin Cowherd just broke the internet? Again, by weighing in on Caitlyn Clark trade rumors like it's the NBA Finals. Yeah, he's calling it a nuclear disaster for Indiana. Grab your popcorn because this hot take's so spicy, it might just torch the entire WNBA. Let's dive in. Now we've entered the twilight zone of the WNBA, where the Clarkspiracy just keeps getting juicier by the second. Because let's get one thing clear. This isn't just about Indiana anymore.
I'm not going to ignore, nor am I going to take my eyes off of what transpires with the WNBA over the next 2 weeks while Caitlyn Clark is out with the quad strain. And the reason why is because, let me tell you something right now. I'm not going to go to word hate. I'm not going to be out there like RG3 was saying that Angel Reese hates Caitlyn Clark or other players hate Caitlyn Clark. But I will say this. I don't think it's specific about Caitlyn Clark. I think it's what Caitlyn Clark represents. See, it's through no fault of Caitlyn Clark. Caitlyn Clark balls. She balled at Iowa in college. She's balled since she's been in the NBA. She came into the league last year with no break whatsoever between the college game and the pro game and did her thing.
No. Shipping Caitlyn Clark out of town would be the equivalent of uninstalling Wi-Fi in 2025. Civilization would collapse. The league would implode. The sun would dim. Starbucks would stop spelling names wrong. That's how catastrophic this would be. We're not just talking about a basketball move here. We're talking about pulling the foundational Jenga block from a tower built on hype, sold-out arenas, and suddenly interested fans who couldn't previously name 3 WNBA teams without phoning a friend.
Caitlyn Clark had another, whatever you want to call it, confrontation in a WNBA game. Like, why is this happening? The Caitlyn Clark phenomenon is one that I got wrong. I never really thought that Caitlyn Clark would make the difference that she has in college basketball or in the WNBA. What other sports analogies are out there that are in any way similar to the impact that one individual has had on a larger sporting universe?
So it's the last part of it, the players vote, that I take some exception to. And I'm not a big Caitlyn Clark fan. Like, I don't care either way, but they vote her 9. And why I find that absolutely hilarious is you can say she's 9 if you want, but you don't treat her like she's 9. Because when she was here in town, they were picking her up 3/4 court the entire game, and they had her double teamed the entire game. Now, is your shooting efficiency going to go down?
Trading Clark wouldn't just destroy Indiana, it would detonate the league's golden goose. You can't just give up your cash cow and expect the farm to keep running smoothly. You think ticket sales are strong now? Watch how fast those seats turn into ghost towns if she's benched long-term or, heaven forbid, shipped off to a team coached by a bag of turnips in a pantsuit.
She doesn't always get the consistent great star whistle. I think they're still kind of figuring out how to officiate her, right? Like when I've said this for years when I covered Shaq and went to Shaq got fouled more than anybody I've ever seen. I mean, it was insane. People bounced off Shaq. Jokic complains constantly, like, people are bouncing off me. She doesn't quite get as favorable a whistle as you think. So I think
neither does Steph, too. That's the funny part.
But it's not just that she's too valuable to trade. It's that she's being sabotaged. Let's call it what it is. The optics? Chef's kiss. A coach who last year just so happened to clap like a deranged seal when Dejanay Spicy Brown Carrington went full Mortal Kombat on Caitlyn Clark's eyeballs. That same coach gets magically promoted straight to the front office and then, poof, becomes the head coach of the very team Clark is on? Oh, honey. That's not a coincidence. That's a villain origin story. Let's just connect the dots here, shall we? First, the poke in the eye, then the smiling after the poke, then the front office job, then the promotion to coaching Caitlyn Clark. We've seen less elaborate setups on Netflix thrillers. It's not even subtle.
Caitlyn Clark finished 9th
in player voting. In fact, she finished behind one of her own teammates in player voting. The pettiness has no bounds. For years, the WNBA players were pointing fingers. They were saying people are sexist, we're not being promoted, we're underappreciated. And then they get the golden goose and they don't like what it looks like. When the wave hits, ride it. They wanted to fly private. They wanted to be more popular. They wanted sold out arenas. They got it. I wouldn't have guessed that Caitlyn Clark would be this transformative.
Caitlyn Clark was number 1 among fans, number 3 among media. What do you think she was among players?
Dead last.
She's not last.
No, not last, no. But
Barely made it to the top 10. So she was 1, 3, and 9. Well, Dick Vitale went off on a whole rant. It is pure jealousy. Someday these players will realize what she has done for them. They now have chartered planes, increase in salaries, sold out crowds, improved TV ratings. Stop being jealous haters on Caitlyn.
It's like the league is screaming, let's make sure the one person who can actually put butts in seats gets smothered by a defensive scheme and coached by someone who thinks Gatorade timeouts are too generous. No one wants to say it, but we will. She doesn't fit this system, and the system likes it that way. They're not trying to maximize Caitlyn Clark. They're trying to minimize her. Why else would a team act like she's radioactive unless they were told to keep her lukewarm? Why else would you stick a generational talent in a corner like she's a malfunctioning Roomba?
This is clearly them cutting her down, because when you look at fan voting, obviously Clark is 1, right? Because she has the most fans in the league. So that clearly biased. You go to the media voting.
She was 3.
She was 3. That actually makes sense.
I agree. She's not having the best of years this year. She's actually, her shooting is down.
Exactly.
There's been a number of situations that she's just not played her best ball. But she is still much, eons better than a lot of the other players that they voted in front of her.
Let's not forget, the coach is doing exactly what the league hired her to do. This isn't about wins or losses. This is about power, about control, about making sure the league's narrative doesn't become too Clark-centric. Because Caitlyn, bless her sweet corn-fed heart, wasn't supposed to be this big. She wasn't supposed to become the story. And now that she is, the league's trying to write her out of the script without admitting they're the ones who printed her face on the front cover.
We get it. Some folks think it's a culture shift, that the WNBA doesn't want to be a league that depends on one superstar, that it wants team play, inclusivity, a nice round robin of average stats. Sure. But you don't build a league by shoving your brightest star in a broom closet because the lighting's too harsh. You build it by letting her shine and then finding ways to bring others into that glow. But now, what we're seeing is a deliberate dimming.
A university professor in finance looked up the value of Caitlyn Clark for the WNBA. This is insane. So this year, last season in the WNBA, Caitlyn Clark was 26.5% of all economic activity as a rookie on the worst team in the league when she entered it. So now she has an 8-year, $128 million deal with Nike. So, she's going to eat. Merchandise in the league went up off a rookie from a Midwest-based school on the worst team in the league, 234%.
Poor Caitlyn Clark, the unsuspecting Midwest girl who just wanted to hoop, now finds herself at the center of a chessboard where she's the queen, and the league's trying to trade her for a pawn just to see what happens. She came in with optimism and integrity, thinking she'd change the league for the better. Instead, the league seems determined to change her into a bench warmer with good Instagram engagement. Meanwhile, the commissioner's out here pretending this is just rookie development, right? Like giving Michelangelo finger paints and telling him it builds character. No, this is a coordinated operation, a full-on Clark containment initiative dressed up in post-game pressers and painfully diplomatic interviews.
So we all know who Caitlyn Clark is. She's the golden goose, laying those golden eggs for the WNBA to prosper. Well, a lot of times we notice that the WNBA is resisting this golden goose and resisting this bump and this force of nature, which is Caitlyn Clark. So we're going to have to dive deep into that. What's behind that? Is jealousy, envy, pettiness, all the above, more than that? We're going to have to go.
And what exactly is the end game here? Force her to conform, break her will, turn her into just another name on a jersey while the league pivots to balance and equity and 52 pass possessions that end in layups so boring they put your dog to sleep? Yeah, no thanks. The worst part? The fans see it. The ones who tuned in for Caitlyn, who bought the tickets, the jerseys, the overpriced nachos, they know this is a setup, and they're not going to keep showing up if she's being turned into a silent prop in her own highlight reel. This isn't just Indiana's mistake to make. It's the league's future they're gambling with, one illogical rotation at a time. So sure, trade her, bench her, gaslight everyone into thinking it's strategic. But don't be shocked when those record viewership numbers start to nosedive faster than the Suns' media etiquette, because the moment Caitlyn Clark's light gets switched off, so does the league's spotlight.